Good evening and welcome to tonight's show from DJNTV, Disc Jockey News TV. Tonight's show is brought to you by Electra Voice, DJ Event Planner, DJ Trivia, Odyssey Innovative Designs and Cases, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, and the DJNTV Insiders.
All right, hello, and welcome to the DJ Spotlight here on Disc Jockey News TV. Disko Kitty, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, how are you?
I am amazing. I'm so stoked to hear more about your story. So why don't we start there? Why don't you tell us about those early beginnings and how it kind of brought you to where you are today?
It's a long story. It started with me going to college down south in Southern Illinois. I'm from the suburbs of Chicago. And I started out at hang out with gangbangers in high school, and I got into electronic music as a kid. But we didn't have I didn't have access to buying DJ equipment. So I go to college and I marry this guy in a punk rock band. And we got a lot of financial aid from it because at the time, I'm a little older, you would get more grants for being a non-traditional student. And because I was 18, I qualified for, and married, I qualified for being a non-traditional student. He was in the military. So he was getting gear, with the extra money that we had. I know, really responsible students. I graduated in 4 years though. I did it. So I put that money to good use, but I did, he bought the tables and he wanted to use them for the band, but they never really used them, and they were techniques because he knew his gear really well. And so I took them over because I had that background of listening to music influence, that I was hearing when I was hanging out with the gangbangers. I know suburbs of Chicago, but you'd be surprised. So it heavily influenced what I started doing, because I would try to emulate DJs like Bad Boy Bill, old school Bad Boy Bill from Chicago, and Julian Perez, and Tim Spinning Schomer, which is he spins a genre called freestyle or heartbeats. And it's Judy Torres, and they're just love songs that are to break beats, you hear roller skating. So from then, I went to go get my master's degree in Las Vegas, and in the middle of that, I divorced the guy. Drama, kids really should not get married. It's stupid. But I ended up with tables and this, a really good mixer. So every time I would go back to Chicago, I would crate dig in the discount bins, because that's all I could afford with my student money. And I couldn't afford to buy that. And who cares if I had the hottest song in Carbondale, because that's where I was at. I was in some shitty small towns down south. I was just learning how to mix anyways. So I would go to garage sales, flea market, and just trying to emulate what I had heard growing up, but still with my own style, because as it turns out, even though I've kind of known in the electronic scene as more of a drum and bass DJ, but in the DJ scene and or even the universe of of social media, I'm an open format DJ. And it turns out I've always been an open format DJ. Regardless of what I was collecting, I would still play the original Sade Smooth Operator with a house beat, train wrecking horribly because it's on turntables. But I would record everything I did and listen. I still have some of those tapes, and I've digitize them to like try and sample some of the ideas I was trying to work with and make 20 plus years ago. So, I mean, so I moved to Las Vegas, and that's when I became confident enough to DJ in public. Still not open format DJ. That's when I became like a junglist. Like Disko Kitty was born in Carbondale, but like stage presence Disko Kitty came out in Las Vegas, and that's where I like did raves at this place called like the Candy Factory. And like I still remember like one of my first gigs, I was only paid like a little bit of money, and the train, we were outside in the back, and the trains were like coming as I was playing like drum and bass. So it was like really cool. So that really like I got the bug. You know, people are really excited at raves. And so I moved to Chicago, and I didn't know anybody when I moved back to Chicago because I was from the suburbs when I had gone to college and went to Vegas, and I came back to Chicago to be with my family. And it turned out I met people through being like a flyer girl and passing out flyers at 4 a.m. in February, like in the shadiest like district where the hookers were. Like they don't even exist anymore. Like this area doesn't even exist anymore. But like anyone from Chicago will know Kingsbury and North Avenue. And I was out there in the middle of the night, and some of those guys like still remember me like dropping flyers on cars and dodging, you know, like dipping in between cars, putting on flyers. And then I got gigs, and then I got married. And I don't hear you. Okay, good. Oh yeah, there we go. Microphone, good. Okay, so I got married, and obviously, my relationship kind of took the forefront of what was important to me versus like, fact is people who go out to clubs are looking to get laid. Most of the time, it's just a fact. People are out there looking to get wasted, looking to score drugs, or looking to party and meet people and fuck around. And so like, my husband is cool. He'll go with me, but he's not in the club scene, music scene. He's he's him, you know, he's not part of a scene. Now, I'm a tribal person. He's not. He's more of an independent person. So, yes, the gigs definitely decreased as my relationship developed. And then I got pregnant.
Yeah.
Then we found out early in the pregnancy that we were going to be spending time in the NICU. Mm-hmm. So I had to prepare for that if the baby was going to be born. We were lucky enough to know that we were going to have a high chance of the baby being okay if he was born naturally. So we expected to have a natural birth. We went to the hospital 5 weeks early. Water broke at home. And we ended up doing 10 weeks at the NICU instead of like what was supposed to be only maybe a month. It doubled. There were some accidents, just bad luck, but good luck because we have a perfect child now. We're great. So, but during those 10 weeks, like I had a lot of thinking to do, and I was in the middle of going to naturopathic medical school at the same time. Like I've dissected and skinned a body. It was really cool, and I think everyone should do that because I've learned how my body works. I decided that school was not important anymore. Nothing like being like a hot DJ was not that important anymore. And like I had to breastfeed. My child was born with a thing called gastroschisis. I can bring awareness. I guess I can use this platform to bring awareness. It's kind of like a cleft palate, but in the gut. And basically your gut, both of us had our guts hanging out when I gave birth, because I ended up having an emergency C-section, and they had to pull me apart, and the baby came out and his guts were out, and they had to like stick in his intestine back in, and he's a survivor. And just watching him in the hospital go through a series of like things that were setbacks just gave me perspective on who I wanted to be. And it wasn't me spending the next 4 years in medical school it still was a standard medical school, even though it was natural medicine, and trying to be a musician. How did I want to present myself now? Like, before I was like Disco Kitty, you know, sexy, sassy, bitchy, you know. I'd out late at night, out till 9 a.m, you know, like networking, hanging out. And now, like, I can't hang out till 9 o'clock in the morning. Like, then you get where's your man? What kind of mom are you? You know, people think, what kind of mom are you? I would think I personally think, what kind of mom am I if I'm out till 9 a.m, because I know that, like, I got to come home and be a mom right after that. So my gigs have definitely changed from what they were in the Vegas days and early Chicago days to what they are now. So right now I'm doing mostly open format for like weddings and gallery openings, corporate events. I do some club work every now and then. I'm going to try and probably break back into that scene when I move back to San Diego. But yeah, that's really where I'm at this point. That's how I've gotten from the beginning to where I am now. Is, yeah, my kid really, really impacted who I wanted to be as a musician.
I really appreciate that you mentioned that, because especially as women, the frustrating thing is, and you kind of touched on it earlier, was that, you know, you're in a relationship or you're getting married or you're having a kid, and suddenly the things around you start to change as far as your career. It's as if people assume you're not going to be able to handle the work that you need to do. And it sounds like to me, for you, the experience that you had gave you some perspective on what was and wasn't working in your career. Because when I hear people talk about staying up to all hours of the morning, like, look, I want to network and I want to meet people, but I'm not going to have quality conversations with people that are on drugs at 4 a.m. I'm going to have quality conversations with people in the middle of the day when people are sober, at workshops, at like events where we are learning
building the scene.
Producers. Yeah. So it sounds like to me, there was a lot of perspective that you gained from that experience. And I know that you're making a big move in your life right now, and there's pros and cons that come from that experience. So how did you know that this was the right choice for you at this time in your life?
Oh, that's it's actually an easy question. I'm approaching midlife. I have a small child who's about to go into kindergarten. So now we decided, I've always had wanderlust. Before I met my husband, he'd not traveled as much. And I did live in Las Vegas for 2 years, and I really liked it. And I've been dreaming of all my life since I was a kid, since I touched foot like on my first step on like San Juan. Like, I always wanted to live where it was warm and like tropical and beautiful and near the water and near the ocean. And to be honest, some issues happened with my family, and it's I'm now at a time where like I can separate off and not feel like I'm abandoning anyone or hurting anybody. I can do me. And it's a result of other people choosing not to grow. And so there I got another like little slap in the face from life, and it was like, yo, you know, like, what do you want with your life? I want to go to California. I want to go see the mountains. I want to wake up 20 minutes from the beach if I want to drive and go, like, instead of having to like get fucked up, I want to be able to go breathe some air. I used to read a lot of Russian novels and like a lot of Russian history, and like they would send the dignitaries and like the royalty to the Baltic Sea and to where the water was salty, where the air was salty, to get healthy and stuff like that. So I just feel like for my mental health, I've been kind of like just stagnated in my just like my career and my ideas. I just feel like I need like something to inspire me that's more than what is in my head and more than what like some party substances could probably do to add to like what's going on in my imagination. And my kid is about to start kindergarten. Perfect time to establish a new life somewhere else. My husband works from home. He was able to work that out, so he can do that. I am just an event DJ. I can go DJ in Peru if I feel like. So we are at a point in our lives where we can semi-retire and move and follow our dreams so we decided, we're like, are we gonna do this for kindergarten? We're gonna wait for our kid to go to college and then pick up everything, 20 years or whatever of crap, and take off. And like I don't know, like I love Chicago, but like I'm kind of at a point here where like I've stayed my welcome. I've been here since 2000, so I've done 20 good years here in Chicago, and it's like everyone is taking their opportunities, and I'm so fucking proud of them. But I don't want to go like try and step in on their shit. Like I need to go build something new. And like if I just show up in a city and I'm like, hey, I'm here, I'm gonna go do some stuff, like nobody's be like, who does she think she is walking in here trying to take my job or starting this new night? I'm just this person who knows how to DJ that showed up in San Diego. I really am like seeing it that way.
I really appreciate your openness to grow and learn and get uncomfortable and change your situation. Like that is like, if that's
it's
not
scary.
A growth mind, it is. But if you don't take risks, like, are you, like, if you don't get uncomfortable, are you really growing? I mean, I think of somebody in the gym lifting weights. Like, if you don't add some weight on there and like feel uncomfortable, how are you going to get your gains? And you're just like, you're so on point with that. I so appreciate that. And, I love that you're taking the opportunity to do it now as opposed to waiting, because I think a lot of people do that. They're like, we're doing it for our kids. And I don't know about you, but for me, I'm like, I don't want my kids to ever think I couldn't accomplish my passion just because they were born.
Oh my gosh.
I so appreciate that. You kind of like touched on it a bit about being an open format DJ. I know that you also do DJ weddings, which like of its own is like a whole other thing, because I'm guessing you're also like master of ceremonies and it's a show.
Yes. Even though it's not a show.
Yeah. So I'd love to know how you utilize that, how you take what from that scene to the electronic music scene. Like, how do you like really build off of that and, just be the best, live your best DJ life?
This is a great question, because I had an amazing wedding yesterday. So yesterday I had 60 people. The week before I also had 60 people. 2 very, very different weddings, 2 very, very different outcomes. One wedding I as a DJ, I had to call it and tell them that maybe they should end early. the other wedding, we could have gone for another 3 hours. So I never, ever would have imagined myself to be a wedding DJ. Because, I mean, immediately when someone thinks or hears of wedding DJ, they think of some hokey, old, like, nerdy person playing the chicken dance and, like high school dance music or whatever. Just, like, stuff that you don't really care for, but it's just taking up ear noise or whatever. It's just like background music, and you're just there, and you might dance to a couple songs that you might like, and that's not what I learned. So a friend of mine approached me, ironically, like, he had opened up for me, Spencer Locken of Orchard Lounge. They're playing at Electric Forest this weekend. And they played Lollapalooza. So my friend who opened for me is, like, now my boss. It's crazy. I was a guest at a wedding he was DJing at, and he's like, I've been looking for you. I remember opening for you, and I really liked your style. Would you consider being a wedding DJ? And I'm like, I don't know. So he sends me this email, and it was really, like, well thought out and well put. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try this out and see what it's about, because the money sounds pretty good. So I did it. And so I am definitely not, like, I am a master of ceremonies. Yes, I do get on the mic. I do make announcements. I do talk to people, but I'm definitely not like, hey, everybody, get up. Get up on the floor. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, wobble. You know, like, don't announce, like, you're not going to hear me. I'm just, I keep everything very dignified, in respect to announcements, but the music aspect has changed everything about just, like, what I know about music and what I've been doing about music. So I stated earlier that, like, even though I, started out playing raves, really, I didn't, like, I was open format in my heart, but not truly playing open format because I did not have the skills to do it. And I don't think you need like a Serato or quantizing, because I am not a what's the sync? So yeah, see, I just proved for sure I'm not a sync DJ because I couldn't even remember the word. Not hating, because I have used it, and it is really, like, if you play with it, you can actually hit sync and, like, start playing with effects and use that time to do other things with the music. And now with controllers, you can, like, remix and hit pads and stuff. So not hating on syncing, just I'm a turntable DJ. So
can I interrupt you for a second?
What?
Oh, I was saying, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
The sync button saved my life the other day. I was at a pre-party, and we got kicked out of the venue because apparently they don't like money, and there was too many people.
Okay.
And so, so the organizer was like, well, we're going over to this other club. And I was like, dude, I got my USB, I got my headphones, let's do this. And he was like, what? And he's like, I'll pay you. Yeah, let's do this. And I get there and I realized I did not have my headphone adapter, and I had to get my husband to come bring it down. And I was like, and this is the time we use the sync button.
There you go.
And I was just like, and I remember telling my, elitist friend about this, and he's like, you get my approval. But a
good DJ should be, like, at least versed in what things what they do, and appreciate what they do, and not, like, hate on it, because it's not the method, it's what it sounds like. I mean, same with music. Like, I'm not a competitive person. Like, we all have our own styles and our own sounds, and, like, go listen to my song here. This is what it is, good luck with whatever way you decide to display it. But so back to me being a wedding DJ and how it affects me. So so before, when I became this, like, performance drum and bass diva of Las Vegas, I mean, because let's be real, like, there's not a lot of female junglists. There were not a lot of female junglists in 1998. How old am I?
Who cares?
No Botox, no fillers.
Yeah.
What got me to learn how to DJ was this idea, this concept that music is written in bars and 32 beats. You know, so if you can find 1 through 8 and count to 8 4 times, like it's called the I forgot. It was like a Wu-Tang thing. Someone called it a Wu-Tang thing. I don't even know. I Googled it. No, I've never been able to find it. So like, I'm sure they were full of shit, like the RZA rule or whatever. But whatever, I thank God for that person that said that, because I'm a classical pianist since 4 years old. Like I was in competitions. Like I teach piano lessons now. I never put it together. Hold on. I have a kid emergency right now. I'm busy. So, if you don't even need to splice if you don't want, but, so music is written, welcome to Mommy Land.
Yeah.
So this concept that music is written in 32 beats, like standard electronic music, and just like most music in general, like a new instrument, a new sound will come in at around 32. And you've got 1 through 8 for sure that are probably going to be like non-changed. You're guaranteed it'll be a perfect loop. Even, 4 is easy, but if you can count 1 to 8, you can line up songs to really like sound presentable. So that's how my style basically would be, is like I'd be finding those like paragraphs and finding the 1 through 8s, and like starting at 1 or starting at 3, like playing with that, and maybe even like doing a little turntablism and like knocking them and like doing them offbeat and looping stuff. But at that time, remember, everything was still 20 years ago manual. The best thing I had was hitting a button that counted a loop, and I'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, stop, and then hit the 2 and the 4 button or whatever, and like do that. So then I get into wet, and so my mixes were very just like even, like if I started at 126, maybe I ended at 129. Like. Not a lot of change, just and it's good. A lot of people still mix like that. Those are great mixes, totally fine. I need more excitement. I get bored easily. So the weddings, like a lot of genres, a lot of BPMs. How I organize my music is first by genre in folders. Then I make, I guess, what the laymen call playlists. We call them crates. I don't make playlists. I still, like, people are like, well, you have a playlist on Spotify? I'm like, no, I got like 8,000 crates on my Serato and record box. Like I guess I should make playlists more. Probably would have more social media. Note to self. So I do my crates, and then for like weddings, like the company I used to work for and still kind of work for in Chicago, Style Matters. Your style matters. So like we would cater our sets for the weddings to exactly like, not like they don't give us every song, but they say like what Spotify or Pandora station, who some of their favorite artists are. And so like now I would have to curate like a cocktail list, which has to be upbeat and lovely, because you don't want it to be depressing and you don't want it to be about cheating or heartbreak. So, you have to start like listening to what songs are about, which I am the worst at lyrics. My favorite song, I couldn't tell you the lyrics to my song. My husband knows every lyric. My son, same thing. They memorize everything. I know bass and rhythm, like I'm more of a the funk, the rhythm gets me. That's what gets me going.
Yeah.
Lyrics, beautiful. I love the sound of vocals, but for some reason my brain cannot catch lyrics.
I don't know about you, but I only catch them 10, 20 years later where I'm like, that was a very inappropriate song for my age that I was listening to. And now I hear the lyrics.
Oh, I can't believe, you know, like, so when I hear parents talk shit about songs, I'm like, Rock the Boat.
Yeah.
That's, do you know what a boat is? Yeah. Do you know what a boat is?
Love that tune.
That's a great song.
Rest in peace, Leah, but
as a woman, you better be rocking that fucking boat, you know? Like, so work it, you know, like straight up. So, so with weddings, like now I'm mixing with different genres and different BPMs, and I have to really, really pay attention to the crowd because, like, I want to have a successful wedding, like a successful night. So watching like for me, it's a failure to see half the family. I don't know what's happening in the background personally to them, but like for me, seeing half the family on their phones or sitting down, I am using whatever I can and building into a song to get everyone up there and figuring a way to get out of some of those songs because I'm also taking requests. Because a good wedding DJ takes requests. If you're not taking requests as a wedding DJ, you're in the wrong field. You should be a producer. You should not be at weddings.
Speaking of production, so oh my God, I'm listening to your SoundCloud. I'm listening to your mixes and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Can you tell us about your process in the studio?
Okay, so for producing mixes or songs?
Music.
So like my own songs.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can start with a sad story of my childhood. Basically, I was a classical pianist and I played in like competitions and like and for my school, and I basically was punished a lot for if I made errors. Yeah. So as a result, like it stagnated my ability to write music. And I have just started writing music a year ago. I'm in my 40s. So the process began with me finally like actually going to therapy and like cleaning out my head, moving away, like all of this stuff. And like suddenly like the music, the ideas that like I've been thinking about for these past 20 years, because I like in writing, I am a lyricist. I can write lyrics. I can sing. I do have a very good ear. My voice is not like professional because I'm not a professional singer, but I can sing and I will be doing my own vocals on my songs. I've finally been able to get out songs. So what I've been doing is right now I'm remixing. So I remixed Shallow. I remixed Shallow by Lady Gaga, and I played it for a few people. Like, you know, since I have been in Chicago for a few years, I do know a few professionals in the industry. I'm not going to drop any names, but I played it for them, and they were like, this is really good. And I'm like, it's like pretty much the second to third song I've like really sat down and like played. So I kind of use like, again, like rules. First, I guess what I do is I find a sample I want to work with, because right now I'm still having trouble like writing my own music, like my own ideas, like putting my own instruments together into a drum set or whatever, like, so to speak. So I'm still using samples. I'm still in that part of the process, but take a sample and then I'll find like a good beat that I want to do with it. And then I just start experimenting with the sound, and then I put it away for like a while. I am not like I think it was Mad Villain that like made one of his album, like, or MF Doom like made an album like in 1 week on his one weekend on his MPC player. Like Drugs or No Drugs, like I couldn't do that. So I put it away, and then I'll go back and listen to it again, and I'll be like, okay, this is pretty good, but it needs to be organized because I used to play piano for the choirs and the madrigal, so I know how to arrange music by writing it, which is hard for me on the computer, but basically I've come up with a system for myself where I know where I want to follow a certain pattern of how I want music to go. So right now I'm doing mashups. I'm releasing a new mashup soon. I don't know if you're a fan of, what is that show, Blind, on Netflix? Black Mirror.
I think we have a lot of fans of that show.
Okay, so Black Mirror plays this one song called I'll Be There For You. It's really haunting, and they play it in a lot of the episodes. So I really love it. So I've taken it and I've added a new twist to it. It's pretty dope. And then I've mashed it up with this song that's really famous in the Latin community. And if you've seen Mi Vida Loca, it's called Suavecito. I love this song, Suavecito, very much. So it's a mashup between I'll Be There For You and Suavecito. So I'm going to be releasing that on just my SoundCloud page. Hopefully before I leave town by the end of July. Otherwise, it'll be a while before that. Because the move is going to be insane.
I'm glad that you're mentioning some of these. Before we end the interview off and talk about all of these upcoming projects that people should definitely check out, I just wanted to acknowledge what you were talking about one, dealing with mental health. So freaking important, especially in this industry.
Yeah, it's toxic.
And I love how you said, cleaned out my mind. Yes. And I love, and it sounds like to me, you process things by writing music.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been at a bunch of workshops today, and it's like a lot of hip hop, R&B peeps, and they are chatting about how there's when they are angry and when they're sad is when they write the best material.
100%.
And
100%.
Yeah. And you also mentioned another thing that, so the workshops I was at were for Northern Touch Music Festival. If you're in Winnipeg, check them out. One of the things they also mentioned was sampling. And I know people get a lot of hate on this, but
yeah, me and my husband fight about it all the time. He thinks it's totally foul.
The professionals, the people that were running these workshops were sample shit. Are you kidding me?
Why are you gonna waste your time?
Yeah, they're not only yeah, sure, sample it, make it your own. But I mean, sometimes with these drum sets, when people are using them, or all these different sample packs, everybody ends up sounding the same. Whereas when you're sampling music, you can put your own spin on it. And yeah, when I was listening to your mix, and I was not only is your mix a journey, it's
thank you.
It sets a mood. And yeah, I know everybody would love to hear about any upcoming projects that we should be checking out and events in the future.
Okay, so straight up events. Private. Yeah. I'm moving. So I couldn't commit to anybody. I didn't want to because I didn't know if we were going to move in July or August. So I definitely dropped the ball, or you know what? I do have one event. It's at Swig on it's the last Swig of the month. It's called The Goods. My good friend Duke Shin runs it. I used to be an original resident, but I had my kid. I'm not going to say his name. I'm going to afford him some privacy.
Yes, I love it.
Although my Facebook I do post a lot of funny parental items, But the goods, the goods is on July 25th, and it's my going away party, last going away party for Chicago. With regard to projects, so I'm going to do the I'll Be There For You mashup. It will be on my SoundCloud page. I believe that's just Disko Kitty.
We'll have the links.
Great.
All the links for them.
And then I plan on releasing a mix that is for me and for you, for the world. And it's Goodbye Chicago, Hello San Diego mix. It'll probably be several hours because I'm going to be driving about 24 hours. And it really is going to be, you touched on how my mixes do take you on a journey. Fact. I absolutely put my mixes together in a way where like, you are going somewhere. Even though I said like I have a hard time with lyrics, that doesn't mean that the rhythm doesn't tell things about the song sometimes regardless of lyrics, and it sometimes helps me and guides me into making those mixes. But this mix that I have coming up definitely is lyric intensive, rhythm intensive, and it really is saying how Chicago has influenced me. Thank you. Goodbye. I love you. I'm heartbroken that I have to leave. I have to leave. Like I feel like something's calling me out as well. So, and I have to go start my new life and check my new dreams. And part of my new dreams is my new company that I've started. Right now it's just got a generic name. It's called a Wedding DJ San Diego Disko Kitty. You can find it on Facebook. Until I gain some clients and like get some momentum and network and get to know the people out in San Diego, I felt like I would just keep a generic name so that people could search me and find me. And I think building the business, moving, releasing a mix, another song, I think I feel good about that. I wish I was DJing a bunch of gigs, and I wish I was at a bunch of festivals. To be honest, I don't think I would be the best DJ right now in my life to be doing that, and it would be just like a mess of songs versus like the journey that I would want to take a crowd on. I mean, because crowds don't bother me. That's not an issue. But I don't want to be a disappointment. I would want them to be like sober or not, really feeling like they are in a different zone.
I so appreciate your perspective. I love your vulnerability. I love your growth mindset. And I appreciate you taking the time to share your story with the rest of us. For the rest of y'all that are tuned in to this, what did Disko Kitty say that really stood out to you? Some insight she gave you that you want to use in your career today. Let us know in the comments below how you are going to make that happen. And as always, don't let no one kill your vibe.
Yeah.